Okay, I came out with the shortest ways to get passports, and some of these you can actually, there's a zero statute of limitation period, and I'm going to explain to you how that works. Some of these are not accurate because I've actually been involved with these, and they actually mention in here what the law says, and in actuality, they don't work like that, which is true. That's what you're going to run into. Panama and many other countries, especially in Central America and also in the Caribbean, that are residency by investment programs. Dominican Republic's a good example also. You won't get it in the period of time that they mention. But that being said, the government does have a zero statute of limitation period. In other words, you can literally apply for the passport right away. And I'll explain to you how it works. But let me go through the naturalization, residency by nationalization first. And there are several here in the world where you can get really quick. Now, some things they didn't mention that were the negatives that they left off, which it kind of reminded me of this article I saw back in Sovereign Society back in the 1990s, which led me to take a trip to Panama, and I found out the article just left a lot of things blank that I needed to see, and consequently, I had to relocate. It was, of course, back then, they didn't have the internet like they got today, and there weren't a lot of companies. Sovereign Society was about the only one international living that was really giving information out on this. Marshall Langer was a good lawyer then in the UK. He had information on it too, but it was very expensive to use him back then. But anyway, let me go over this with you. Also, folks, if you can do us a big favor, we don't monetize our channel. So if you can do us a big favor and hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically. It'll help us get out this video to more people, and we can do more free research for you if you don't mind, and give us a thumbs up if you like the video. All right, now let's look at residency by naturalization. They had a chart here, and they had 5 countries, 3 of which are located in Latin America, that offer residency programs that lead to citizenship after just 2 years of residency. Now, they actually, in actuality, it's going to take you longer than this, though, again, like I mentioned to you. But by spending just 24 months, like, for instance, in Peru, Argentina, or the Dominican Republic, I'm going to tell you something. I've experienced Dominican Republic many times. You're not going to get the passport. In fact, I don't think you'll even be able to apply to it after 2 years because you won't have all the material and stuff finished. But I'm talking about from the time you start to the time that you can apply for it. You're looking at 3 to 6 years to get the passport, okay, at least. But in Argentina, it's probably going to be more predictable. Peru is going to be pretty slow. Argentina is going to be too, but I would say it's the best of the 3. But remember, Peru, Argentina, tax worldwide income if you live there. Dominican Republic does have a territorial tax system. There's extra forms you have to fill out to make that occur. But they do have it. You will not have it with Peru, Argentina if you live in those countries that have pretty high taxes. Now, even though you qualify for a specific date, processing your naturalization application can take months. I would say even years extra. Now, the countries that they mention here offer income-based independent means visas, which means that you only need to prove your solvency in the form of recurrent or retirement income to obtain permanent residency status. Now, then after 2 years of continuous residency in the country, you can qualify for the citizenship. Now, technically, you can also naturalize in Liberia and Singapore after just 2 years, but after only subject to crucial limitations. Now, in Liberia, you must be a Black African to get the citizenship, while in Singapore, the clock for naturalization starts only once you get permanent residency, which only particularly qualified people can get from day one. I'm going to tell you something. It's very difficult to get permanent residency now in Singapore. But one thing that, and I assume they still do this in Singapore, but I actually got a license there to have my company, but then I changed mine. I wanted it back in St. Kitts. But one thing that they do that I don't like is they force you to pay yourself a salary when you're starting a new company, even if you're not making money in the business. So you have to come in there with a lot of money and start paying yourself a salary, even if you're not making the money. If your company's losing money, you still have to pay yourself a salary. And the higher the salary, the quicker your permanent residency starts, which will lead to a quicker citizenship. But it's getting really hard to get that passport. And again, you're going to have to relinquish all your other citizenships too, because they don't allow dual citizenship. All right, now let me just go through these real quick. The shortest ordinary naturalization periods for 3 years or fewer are Argentina's 2 years of residency, Dominican Republic 2 years, Peru is 2 years. The ones that are 3 years are Singapore, Benin in Africa, Bolivia, Canada, Honduras, Paraguay, Israel, and Armenia. Now, I will tell you this. Singapore does have a territorial tax system. They also require you to fund money towards, it's like Social Security, but I forgot the name of it. I used to know the name of it, but I forgot it. But it's not a tax. It literally goes towards your savings program. They got one of the best savings programs of any country in the world. It really is a good deal there. But again, they do have a good citizenship program, but you're going to have to relinquish all your other passports to get it. Benin's in Africa. That's another country, 3 years of residency. And they tax worldwide income if you live there. It's one of the poorest countries in Central America. And Benin is real poor, and so is the next one, Bolivia. And Bolivia taxes worldwide income if you live there. Canada's got really bad taxes. Honduras is next. Honduras does have a territorial tax system. The thing I don't like about Honduras, they don't allow dual citizenship in 98% of the cases. They allow it only in cases where Honduras has an exchange agreement on naturalization with other countries, and all those countries are in Central America. And the only one I think outside of that is Spain. So you would have to relinquish in most cases all your other passports to get this one. They do have a real good territorial tax system, though. Paraguay is another country they got listed here. Paraguay's got a territorial tax system. You're not going to get the passport after 3 years. You're looking at about 10 years on that. I can tell you. Okay, they say 3 years to apply, but you're not going to get the passport. You're going to have to pass a Spanish test. Also in Paraguay, Honduras, Bolivia. You're looking at Peru. You're going to have to pass the Spanish test, and also Argentina. So these are big negatives that they didn't even mention here. This is what I saw when I went to Panama. They didn't tell me about they don't allow dual citizenship in Panama. They didn't tell me you got to take a Spanish test. All kinds of stuff they didn't mention. And it wasn't until I got there I started finding out about this, and I said, crap, I don't know if, I know I'm not going to relinquish all my other passports, and, I don't know if I want to learn Spanish good enough to take a test. So these are some things you got to look at. Some other countries on here are again, Israel and Armenia. Israel taxes worldwide income if you live there. Armenia's taxes are pretty low, but they do tax worldwide income if you live there. Paraguay has a territorial tax system. Canada's got horrible tax laws. Don't even consider that. But anyway, they went on to talk about here that, however, as it's common in immigration law, what is written in the law often differs from practice. Totally agree with that. So while Peruvian Dominican laws state residents can apply for naturalization after 2 years of continuous residency on the ground, expertise can differ, or experience can differ. That's so true. You're looking, I would count on 2 to 3 times more than what the lawyer tells you on the residency to get the citizenship. You're going to have to expect that, because it's not going to happen quick. Now, on the other hand, they mentioned here, which I said earlier, that Argentina is a lot more predictable than the other countries, and it is. It's although the corruption's not real bad in Argentina. You do have some corruption, but not like a lot of the other South American countries. But some cases of naturalization application after just 6 months of residency have been approved in Argentina, is evidenced by, well, I can tell you this, I don't know if any cases have been, that's what they say, but I don't know if any cases you're going to get citizenship in Argentina after 6 months. Now, Argentina's naturalization process is far greater, or far, it's far more predictable than the other 2 Latin American countries on this list. But you can still consider probably some waiting time with that country too. Now, many countries offer shortened residency periods for naturalization to citizens of countries for which they maintain close cultural and historical ties. Now, for example, individuals from former Spanish colonies can apply for citizenship in Spain just after 2 years of residency. And many countries in Latin America provide expedited naturalization for nationals from Spanish-speaking countries, often only for natural-born citizens. Now, descendants of Sephardic Jews can apply for expedited citizenship in Portugal, and people who are of Jewish origin can get Israeli citizenship thanks to the law of return. Now, let me go through these are some of the quickest ways that you can get it almost right away. When I say almost right away, they say it on paper, but you're not gonna get it instant. But one of the quickest ways is by marriage. And you know what I would tell someone? If you're thinking about, don't ever get married for citizenship. That's the stupidest thing in the world. But I see some people doing it, and I've seen people do it in St. Kitts because it's they have a pretty fast track program here. They say it's 0, but it's not. I don't know of anybody that's going to get married and instantly get the passport and citizenship in St. Kitts. I'm going to tell you it's not going to happen. It says it here in this article, but I've experienced it already, so I'm telling you it doesn't work like that. So, don't expect that to happen in St. Kitts. But several jurisdictions they talk about here worldwide offer an expedited citizenship path for spouses of citizens. Now, in the following countries, the spouse of a citizen can qualify for citizenship within just a few years of residency. Now, for instance, in Europe, Albania is 1 year, from the time you get married. Albania is 1 year, Armenia is 1 year, Cyprus is 2 years, Georgia is 2 years, Italy is 2 years, Kosovo is 1 year, Malta is 0 years. That's an expensive program on the fast track program, but if you get married to a national, it's practically free. Ukraine is 2 years, Spain is 1 year. In the Americas, Argentina is 0 years, Bahamas 0 years. But remember, Bahamas does not allow dual citizenship. Got good tax laws, though. It's a pure tax haven. Barbados is another one. Belize is a 1 year period. Barbados is 0 period of time. Bolivia is 2 years. Brazil 1 year. Colombia is 2 years. Costa Rica is 2 years. Cuba is 2 years. Dominican Republic is 0 years. I'm going to tell you something. There's no way you're going to get that quick in the Dominican Republic. They're slow as all get out. El Salvador is 2 years. Guyana is 0 years. Honduras 0 years. Jamaica 0. Mexico 2 years. Nicaragua 2 years. But now something you might want to consider, if you're looking to get married to somebody, what you might want to do, try to get something out of the marriage. You might want to go to a country, not to marry someone to get the passport, but if you just happen to find somebody you love and you want to get married to them, why not pick one of these countries that's got a 0 limitation period where they say there's no wait, but you're going to have some wait, but they're probably going to be quicker than the other ones. Now, let's look at Nicaragua. They got here is 2 years. Now, remember, Nicaragua will make you relinquish all your other passports. Peru's 2 years. St. Kitts and Nevis, they say is 0. It's not 0. You're looking at several years to get it. St. Lucia, 0 years. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 0. Trinidad and Tobago, you're looking at 0 years. Now, one thing I want to tell you about St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that's a damn good passport. In fact, it has more visa-free travel the last time I checked than Antigua. It's actually, it's between St. Kitts and Antigua as far as the number of countries. And that you can travel to visa-free, and it has visa-free to all the Schengen countries. They used to, they were going to come out with a fast-track program, but they still have not done it yet. They do have a somewhat territorial tax system, but it's not as good as St. Kitts. Trinidad and Tobago is another one, is 0 years, but remember, Trinidad and Tobago, if you live there, uses 183 days a year. They're going to tax you on your worldwide income. Now, Asia in the Asiatic area, Bahrain, shown here, is 0. Now, let me tell you, that's not accurate. I pulled up the Nationality Act, and the way it works in Bahrain is if you're a male national of Bahrain and a female marries you, okay, then that's supposed to be a 0 period. But if you're a Bahraini female and a male marries you that's a foreigner, okay, he can't get citizenship in Bahrain. So that's the problem there with that. And the 0 year limitation is for a female marrying a male national of Bahrain. Now, East Timor is 2 years. Cambodia is 0 years. Israel is 0 years. Jordan is 0 years. Now, remember, Israel taxes worldwide income if you live there. Jordan is 0. Kiribati is 0 years. Kyrgyzstan is 0. Lebanon is 0. Malaysia is 0. Malaysia is 2 years. Nepal is 0 years. Papua New Guinea is 1 year. Saudi Arabia is 0 years. Now remember, Saudi Arabia does not allow dual citizenship. That's the problem with that passport. Singapore is 2 years. Solomon Islands is 0 years. South Korea is 1 year. And Sri Lanka is 0 years. Syria is 0 years. Tonga is 0 years. Tuvalu is 0 years. United Arab Emirates is 0 years. Vanuatu is 2 years. And then Yemen is 2 years. Now let's look at Africa. In Africa, I'm sorry, these are countries that are in Africa. Angola is 0. Benin is 0. Burundi is 0. Cape Verde is 0. You're looking at Cameroon is 0 years. And again, this is the time period from the time you get married, the wait time that you have to wait before you apply for the passport. Cameroon is 0. Cameroon is a very corrupt African country. The Central African Republic is 0. Chad is 0. I want to tell you something too. This is real important. If you go to these countries, they're in Africa. Okay, and it's countries like Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Comoros. I'm going to tell you something. If you don't look like you are from that area and you don't talk like you're from there, and that passport, most of all these passports are not very good in these places. If you end up going there and you just look like you don't fit in the cube, I'm going to tell you something. They're going to pull you over on the side. And probably what's going to happen is it can delay your flight. It can cause you a lot of headaches. I would stay away from the African passports, but, you know, and it's up to you, but I would stay away from there. Anyway, Comoros used to have a fast-track program. I don't know who in the hell would want to get that passport. All it's going to do is cause you trouble when you go to different countries trying to travel on that passport. Congo is another one, 0 years. Djibouti, 0 years. Egypt, 0 years. Eswatini, 0 years. And these are a lot of these countries, like I said, are in Africa. Gabon is 0 years. Guinea is 0 years. Ivory Coast, another one in Africa, 0 years. Kenya is 0 years. Libya is 0 years. Madagascar is 0. Mali is 0 years. Almost all of these that are in Africa, you get married to a spouse there, you're supposed to get instant passport. Mozambique, 0 years. Nigeria, 0 years. Rwanda, 0. Sao Tome Principe is 0 years. Senegal, 0 years. Sierra Leone is another country that has 0 years. Somalia, 0 years. Tanzania, 0. Togo is 0. Uganda, 0. Zambia, 0. Ethiopia is 1 year. Guinea-Bissau is 1 year. Algeria is 2 years. Burkina Faso is 2 years. Liberia is 2 years. Sudan is 2 years. And Tunisia is 2 years. Now, remember, when you get these passports, you've got to be really careful about this because I would be sticking with countries. I'll be honest with you. I would rather go with a country that will take you longer to get the passport, but you don't have a language barrier problem. They're not going to try to make you relinquish all your other passports. And it's very predictable. You can get your taxes to 0. This is the most unique. This is the type of passport I'm looking for. And I'll tell you, a good country for this is like Ireland. You can literally get your taxes to 0. Got a number 2 passport in the world. And they allow dual citizenship. It's got everything except the weather. The weather is pretty bad there in Ireland. But I would be looking more for that than I would one of these, trying to shorten your period, because you're going to, because they're so slack in these countries, you're probably going to come closer to what Ireland's period of time is going to be anyway. So why not get the second best passport in the world instead of going with one of the worst ones? Okay. Now, if you want to know more on this, folks, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And folks, again, we don't monetize the channel. It would help us a lot if you hit the subscribe button right on your screen right here. We can get more videos out to other people, and we can get higher up and get our business will work a lot more fully if we can get a lot more subscribers. And we don't monetize, so we're doing you a big favor by doing this research for free. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below, and go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.